Welcome to the funnel. My name is John Shea, and I'm the president of Alignment Group. This is episode number 189 of the funnel, selecting a sales mentor. So if you remember last week, we talked about building a mentor program. I want to take a little deeper dive into selecting the right mentor for your sales rep. As always, head on over to alignment-group.com/the funnel, subscribe, and you will receive the show notes. Today, we're going to talk about the management prerequisites, the mentor prerequisites, the right fit, time management, and professional. So let's jump into the management prerequisites. And I say that because you don't just start with a mentoring program. Hey, I'm going to do this today. And you don't have any of the other things lined up, or you're not practicing some of the things you should be practicing as a sales manager. So before you jump into the sales mentor program, ask yourself, do I have a formal sales coaching program? How do I coach my team right now? And what I mean by that is, do you get in the car and just kind of ride along and chit chat about life and what you did over the weekend, occasionally, 5 minutes before you walk into an opportunity, a deal, when you're riding together, just give me the lay of the land here. Then you go into the call and you take over the call and you come out and you tell the rep what a great call that was and how exciting it is to have this opportunity. And then you move on to the next one. Is that your coaching plan? Because if that's your coaching program, you need to adjust it. You need a formal coaching program in place with your team. And why is that important? Because mentoring requires coaching, not only of the sales rep from the mentor, but it requires coaching of the mentor themselves from the manager. You have to coach both. So how does that work? Well, if you don't have a coaching program in place, you're not really thinking about how you coach and train and develop. Then you're starting backwards. So think about your coaching, begin to implement it. And I would say, from a coaching perspective, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't say to the entire sales team, I'm going to start this new coaching program, and you start coaching everybody. I think you take it nice and slow. You build the program. You start maybe with the lowest hanging fruit, the people that are more open to coaching and training, and then kind of evolve from there. Another is the sales development plan. What's your plan to develop your sales reps beyond where they are today? Part of coaching is to include that, right? What do they want to do? Where do they want to be? And I know it's inevitable that people change jobs over the course of their career, more so now than in the past. And you can expect people to leave. And so for me, I won't talk about client experience. I'm going to talk about my experience. I worked in an industry that most of the new hires were fresh out of college. Now, we had some specialty reps that were for vertical markets or major accounts or specific products, and they had experience to hire them. But the meat of your sales force, the largest portion of the sales force, were territories assigned geographically, and most of those folks started straight out of school. So we're hiring, 22, 23-year-old, and we're attempting to keep them in the fold until they put a return on investment to us, right? And one of the things we figured out was that putting a development plan together was helpful, right? So we brought people in, and we had a bench. So we brought people in for the bench. They weren't assigned territories right away. They were developed. The development program was put them through the onboarding, then really teach them how to sell and give them the time to do that. And we had some heavy lifting for them, right? They didn't have customers. They didn't have territory. They had to go out and find new business, the hardest part. But we put a lot of support mechanisms in place, mentors, coaching, management. So it wasn't as if they were alone. Hey, go get them, Tiger. We worked with them diligently to get them to that point. Then ultimately they moved into a territory. And when they moved into a territory, they would see an increase in responsibility because they had customers and an increase in income. Kind of a natural progression. Then as they got better in that territory, their income went up. And occasionally, if someone would leave and an open territory would present itself and it was maybe deemed better or more opportunity than another, they could move. Our biggest challenge was after year 5, believe it or not. Now, in our industry, the average life expectancy of a sales rep was 6 months. Crazy turnover. Companies would go through 10, 12 reps before they could get one to stick for a few years. We didn't have that problem because we built a development program. But our biggest issue was 5 years. At 5 years, their income, it wasn't peaked, but it wasn't growing at the pace it had grown the first 4 years. They're beginning to think about the long term. What are they going to do with their lives? You know, if they're just out of college, now they're 26, 27, and they're starting to think about what comes next for them, whether it's career, whether it's house, whether, buying a house, whatever it is that they want to do, okay? And they get a little antsy and they start looking. And part of the program is development beyond that 5 years. What can they do for us, and what can we do for their career? Some of it's management, some of it's major account roles, some of it's moving into a mentor program so they can learn, develop, and evolve in our company. A sales development plan helps move people along. Some people just want to sell. That's fine. Then we're going to develop the heck out of their sales skills for selling. Some people want to manage. So we want to do some things. We want to comb some things in there to see, first of all, if they can fit the management role. Second of all, help them learn how to become managers before they move into a management role. So to go back to management prerequisites, a sales coaching program, a sales development plan. What's our plan to develop people from the time they move into our company through their lifespan there? And our assessment, and I've said this before, gives you a return on investment. When that sales, you can expect an ROI on that sales rep. So you want to put all this time and effort into hiring somebody, you want to get something back, right? You want the revenue. You want the profit. You want the numbers. And you want them to do that for an extended period of time because you put the effort in helping coach develop and train them. You want the payback, and the payback is it's a win-win, right? The company grows, et cetera, et cetera. But they have to see something in front of them to stay. So why go through the mentor program if you don't have coaching and development? Now, I talked about this next part in the last podcast, sales team expectations. Everybody needs to be on the same page with this. And your expected work from them. If you're not a mentor, you don't have to do a lot of work, but you have to support the program. We expect you to support the program. We expect positive feedback on it. Now, we don't want you to fake that. We want to put a good program together that you're proud of and you're willing to say positive things about. And maybe you don't like it, but like my mother always used to say to me, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. She was better at heeding that advice than me, I have to admit. But you don't want negative salespeople running around undermining what you're doing. And then finally, goals. What are the goals for this program? And I go back to the last podcast. Does the management team, does the sales manager have everything laid out? Not only for the mentor program, the goals, but the entire company. What is it that we're trying to do? What's the message from the company? What's the revenue target? What's the profit target? What are the goals and outcomes you're looking for each team member in their development plan? And how are you coaching them to get to that point? It all comes together in the management prerequisites. Okay, let's talk about the mentor prerequisites. What we require of you to become a mentor. Well, one, we want somebody that's a team player, right? We don't want the lone wolf. And there are those people out there, and I believe in allowing people in your sales team to be who they're going to be as long as it's not destructive. A loner's okay, as long as they're not destructive. And they take the coaching and the development, they still do the stuff you need them to do. They follow the rules, et cetera, et cetera. They're accountable. But maybe they're just not the rah-rah person. I'm perfectly comfortable with that. I just need to know. Are you a team player? Do you want to be part of the team? Is this a good fit for you? Do you enjoy working here? Do you enjoy what you do? Are you achieving or surpassing your revenue and profit targets? The last thing you want to do is make someone who is under quota or failing a mentor. That makes no sense. But I will tell you this. There are a lot of managers out there. They don't have a mentor program, but they bring a new rep and they say, hey, you're going to ride in the field with this person this day. Hey, go with them. They're going to show you around the building. Why? Because they're the person with the most time on their hands. Why do they have the most time on their hands? Because they're underachieving. It boggles my mind that we do that. Oh, yeah, but he's the best for taking him around. Everybody likes him. Walks around with his cup of coffee, talks to everybody. Is that really the example you want to set? That this is the mayor of the bullpen? Doesn't have time to focus on work, but can walk around with a cup of coffee, talking to everybody in every department? Is that really what you want as a mentor? I don't think so. Achieving or surpassing revenue and profit targets. They're activity compliant. In other words, they're not going to sit down with their mentor or their sales rep. The mentor sit down with their sales rep and say, don't worry about that. They don't really check that. As a manager, you should be. But the point is that they need to do stuff the right way. Now, some of you might say, well, you're looking for a brown nose or a goody two-shoes. No, I'm just looking for somebody that takes pride in their company, takes pride in their job, and takes pride in themselves. And they want to do it the right way because they know if they do these things in the right way that they're going to have a high level of success. That's what I'm looking for. They have the desire to grow outside of what they're doing today. They want it, they want this to be part of their work. They want to be able to say, hey, I was a mentor for a number of reasons. One of it could be just their own personal development. It could be their professional development. They want to move into management someday, and they see this as an opportunity to build that resume and to build the experience and knowledge. And I mean the internal resume as well as the external, but to build the experience and knowledge. They have a desire to grow beyond where they are today. And they see the mentor program as a great opportunity for that. Can they teach? So when I'm looking for a mentor, I'm looking for somebody that I know I can coach and teach, that's trainable and coachable. And again, we have that information on our assessment. That's going to tell me, can I teach this person? Can I coach this person? So I want to know, can I coach and teach them? Why? Well, for one, if I can do it to them and they can demonstrate to me that they can coach and teach, then I have somebody. So one of the things that I am tasked with doing these days is teaching my 16-year-old how to drive. And if any of you have ever done that, and I'm kind of showing my age, I hope she doesn't listen to this, it requires a tremendous amount of patience. Because I've been driving for a long time. It's natural for me to get in the car, start the car, and just, it's second nature, right? I just do it. People who can't teach or can't show people how to do stuff, they're like, I don't understand why this is a problem. I don't understand why you don't get this. Just turn here. Just do this. Just do that. Well, this is all new to them. They're trying to get all the coordination down. There's just flood of things coming at them. My foot needs to be on the gas pedal, but I have to move it over to the brake. I have to have the brake on to put it in drive. I have to hit the blinker before I turn. I have to stop at this point before I make the turn. I have to look left, right, left. Then I have to turn, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these things that are coming at them that are brand new. So it requires patience. I need that from my mentor because they're going to ask stupid questions. And I say that with all the love in the world. People are going to ask you questions. You're going to look at them and go, wow, I remember when I didn't know that. And it's okay. But you can't laugh at them. You can't say, well, that's a dumb question. No, you say, you give them the answer and you show a lot of patience when you teach. You need to be able to get the point across. What good are you as a mentor if you can't teach somebody? So I want to know, can they teach? Okay, next, it's the fit, right? It's the right fit. And what I mean by the right fit, does the mentor and the sales rep fit together? Does this work for me? Does it work for them? I'm going to review the assessment. I'm going to review the assessment of the rep. I'm going to review the assessment of the mentor. It's going to help. It's going to help. I'm going to go by what I know about the mentor as a person when pairing them up. I'm going to have a lot of conversation with them beyond that. It's going to be almost like an interview. Are they going to be able to help this person? Are the personalities going to fit, or are we going to have a problem on our hands? Like, they just don't mix. Does the skill fit match? Does the personality fit match? Will they get along? Let's be clear. This is not a management role where you're hiring somebody. You have the mentors already employed with your company. The sales rep's already employed with the company. So will they work together? Can they work together? I have to determine if I'm building this program or I'm putting two people together, whether this is going to work. And if I make a mistake, I need to address it right away. I can't let it fester. So go through the due diligence of reviewing the assessment, determining the skill fit, determining the personality fit, and really trying to figure out if they will get along. It's important. Okay, I want to talk about time management because, first of all, if you're building a mentor program, there are those people that are going to say, I don't have the time for that. I don't want to do that. Well, probably ultimately disqualifies them, but it is a legitimate concern for somebody who says, yeah, I really want to do this, but I'm worried that it's going to affect my business. And that's primary to me. Yes, it should be. So we need to let the mentor and the sales rep know that this is not a 24/7 job. There needs to be good time balance. In the beginning, we're going to start with a really tight schedule, right? Because we're building the onboarding program. It's in the onboarding program. They're already encased in that. So we can start with a pretty tight schedule for them to work together in the beginning, in the first few months. That's going to help you manage the time, and it's going to help the mentor manage the time. Then you can make adjustments as you move along. In some cases, it could be, hey, I've got this sort of complex opportunity. It's a really good qualifying opportunity. I think you might benefit from coming along with me. Let's see if we can fit that into the schedule. That's an adjustment. Okay? Vacations, time off, sick. There's things that happen. So you want to adjust it. It needs to run parallel or coincide with the onboarding program. So the mentor needs to know what they're covering in onboarding at that moment in time. And you might want to have some discussions or coaching sessions while you're in the car or you're meeting together to go through some of that. But make it very clear to both parties that this is not an open 24/7 thing. Yeah, you can pick up the phone and call them or email them if you have a question. It's not like you can't talk to them. And I said that last podcast. Oh, you can't talk to me today. No, but you can't eat up their time either. So everybody has to be aware of that. That's pretty simple, right? But it'll help you manage it properly as a sales manager. It'll help the mentor feel comfortable about what they're doing, and it provides, good information to them. And for the sales rep, it provides structure, so they know exactly how this is going to work. If you don't tell them up front, they tend to fall into two categories. One, the mentor never hears from the rep, or two, it's nonstop. So you need to set the ground rules of time management right up front. Makes sense, but I don't think people kind of go in thinking about that. They sort of think in their own head how it should go and that everybody will do it that way, and it just doesn't work like that. Okay, so I talked about this last time, and I want to talk about it again. This is professional. It's not personal. This is professional. So this is a development opportunity for both the sales rep and the mentor, and they need to know that. It's not a personal thing where, hey, you're my buddy. I'm going to make you a mentor, and you're gonna meet this new rep, and you guys are going to become best friends. Maybe become friends. I'm not saying you can't, but understand this is a professional relationship. The sales rep is not required to take the advice of the mentor. It's not a requirement. I told you to do it this way, and you did it this way. You're not their manager, and the mentor shouldn't interfere with management decisions. In other words, if I'm the manager and I'm making decisions and I'm doing things, and the mentor is going out there saying, well, I don't really agree with that, but we have to do it because he's the boss. That's not good. Your job as the mentor is to support the company and support management decisions. So you're not going to get a shoulder to cry on here. I have this happen to me a lot. Like sales reps come to me with clients and like this, and this. My response to them is always, listen, I see where you're coming from, But you need to go talk to your boss about that. I'm not going to be able to help you with that. You need to sit down and have a conversation. Problems don't get solved by telling me. Problems don't get solved by telling all the wrong people. Problems get solved by being open and honest and providing quality feedback. And then I talk to the business owner, whoever my contact is. It's usually the owner of the company, and say, listen, this is what I talked to so-and-so about. This is their concern. I told them to come see you. Sometimes I might see their point of view. I get where they're coming from, but you need to nip this in the bud, because it could potentially fester. And if they don't come to you, you should go to them. Very open about that. I'm supporting management decisions here. Like, I'm not going to get involved in your day-to-day. Okay, I see where you're coming from, but they're doing this for a reason. You should talk to them. You should talk to them about that. And if it's something that I'm aware of, I'm like, yeah, well, it's a good decision. I think you're missing the boat here. And if you have a problem with it, I'm the last person to go to. So I'm pushing back to Matt. It's the same thing. You got to support it. Okay, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a foundation for picking a mentor. As always, subscribe to The Funnel, alignment-group.com/The Funnel. You can find us on Facebook. My Twitter handle is @ShayJohnR. I'm on LinkedIn and Google+. Contact us at jshay@alignment-group.com. Always enjoy getting emails from listeners. Good feedback. Maybe someday I'll go through kind of a podcast with that. But if you have any suggestions or ideas, send them over. Website, alignment-group.com. Head on over, subscribe to The Funnel. Check out our blog. We write 2 blogs a week. Have some really good stuff on the blog. Some good stuff to download on the website if you're interested in managing, hiring, developing, training, et cetera, et cetera. Let me know if you'd like to see something that we don't have. Maybe I could put that together for you. As always, thanks for subscribing, and keep filling the funnel.